Mr. Benson Enikhuomehin joins us now. He's a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, then we see disproportionate representation as highlighted by the Mr. Dana Jumagobia, SAN. And then you also have the challenge of voting pattern and these problems, these issues that just seem to be bugging the national conference from taking off fully. Well, you've seen some of these. How do you see this playing out eventually?
Well, I foresaw such what is happening now, and I'm not taken by surprise. Particularly when you look at some persons who ordinarily should have had no bearing being in that conference, who are there, because they are major players in the crisis that have bedeviled this country thus far. And such people want to hold still to the evils they perpetrated on this country right from 1960 or even earlier than that. There were persons whom I have seen in that conference, faces I have seen, that pre-1960 independence, they were members of the various conferences, 57, 58 in London. Are they saying that when they run a relay race, they don't have a reason to hand over batting to somebody else to do it?
Do we blame them or the people who chose them?
A combination of two. This was more or less like selection. And you will know because of the enormity of strength they have been in government, they have resources, the intimidation to whoever is going to choose them is also very high. And you know also in the various states, these things are not by election, they are by selection. The various state governors have to pick some persons. So there are fine characters who may be there. But you see, we must take cue from what had happened in other climes. You recall the American Constitution, the convention that was held in 1776. There were a good number of patriots, notable Americans, Jefferson, George Washington, and all of them who were there in that particular convention. But 13 states make up the Union in the 1776 convention that was held. But when the 1787 convention was to be held in Philadelphia, the quality of persons that were there were of younger generation. James Maddison, who was a notable person in that particular convention of 1787, was barely 36. He came in with bundle of books, articulated, gave views. And you know, the reasoning faculty, why I concede that old age brings about wisdom. But the strength of a man is barely between the age of 25 to something around 50. And these are the caliber of persons are expected that will be more in this convention. Why the aged one, or those who have contributed, will stay behind, they will be a kind of backup. They shouldn't be the one that will be at the front runner. In any event, they contributed to the woes we have. I do hope that some of them who are there now will use this opportunity, if they ever have anything, to save themselves. Because, of course, yes. Because posterity will never forgive them. This may be the last chance. Nobody prays for anybody's death. But if you have opportunity of making the changes now, even though I contend, and this is my position, that some of them ought not to have been there, and I can't agree less with Ajimogebia SAN on that particular position that the younger ones should have been there, while the older ones will stay behind and then assist in the wisdom. In any event, for how long can they stay? Somebody that is 78, almost 80, there are some that are 86. Can they stand the stress of sitting for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours? These are serious issues. So I think along the line some things were wrong, but I think if they will do well, it's still not out of place to have some of them look at.
You know, we've had several adjournments, and this is barely the second week or thereabout of the conference, and we've had several adjournments, and now they're adjourned again. Today is Thursday. They've adjourned again till Monday.
Yeah.
One would think that, looking at age and experience, because of the experience they've acquired, these issues of contention over voting pattern and disagreements would have been sorted out, even to the point that we won't have this kind of adjournment again.
You see, you can only give what you have. If the experience you have while you were young is how to use your left hand, to change it at age 76 will be difficult. So if the experience had been wrong ab initio, so no matter what you bring on table, it will be wrong, as it were. And I say this cautiously, without being immodest, that a good number of persons that I've seen in that conference, they are the problems within the country itself. But I want to believe that probably maybe the authorities felt you guys were the one that contrived the crisis we have. Look at it and have it resolved.
Well,
that may be one side of the reason why some of them are there. And therefore, you do not expect that immediately that they will sit down and say we agreed on the rules, because each person was coming from his own background.
If the focus was the nation, as the conference is supposed
They
to
never had the focus of the nation at heart. If the focus of the nation was at each one's heart, before now we won't be talking this way. Each one had its own primordial interest. I expect that while the primordial interest may play some minor roles, the caliber of person that will be in this conference should tower over and above primordial interest. They should be seen as nationalists. The other day I saw one person was almost going to fight in that particular conference. It's a shame. If younger persons, some persons who are there at the House of Representatives, will say that when they have issues that they want to go into crisis or fight, that we condemn it. Is it a man or a woman of 68, 70 something that should go to a conference and what want to go? The family member should call him to order if the state cannot call him to order. So you will see, you can only give what you have. Nemo that what now have it. You can't give what you don't have. So I expect that this teething problem will be. But Nigerians should speak. And I want to commend your station for what is being done. Nigerians should speak. So once we notice individuals who are just there to mess up, why not let's pick up our paper and write to their pointer? So this individual ought not to remain in that particular conference.
But you hear some of them saying that the media should report the proceedings only and not any extracurricular activity.
When you hide something, when you have something to hide, a child that has messed up at night, when you call the child up to say, come, he do not want to leave the bed because he has messed up at night. So if you do not mess up, you see, when you're lighting a candle, the candle is not put under the table. It's put on the table. And therefore, if anybody has anything to hide and say does not want the media to, why would you not want to publicize what is good? If you are busy sleeping at the conference, why would it not be reported? If you are busy fighting, the media should go and report all reportable. Everything about the conference. Why hiding? What do you want to hide? For goodness sake. Such words shouldn't have even been reported. It's that statement that media should not report, everything should not have been reported.